Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the Booker Bingo tag. This tag was created by Bob the Booker, and I saw this originally on KD Books. He did this tag earlier this week, and I saw it today on Eric Carl Anderson's channel, which was delightful. I'd originally planned on doing this tag Tuesday, but some of the questions I realized needed a bit more thought, and I've given it more thought after watching Eric's video. So here we go. So prompt number 1. The Hilary Mantel, a highly praised author who you think deserves that hype. Now, this is a very hard question for me to answer. I am an incredibly harsh and mercurial reader. So, I might like one book by an author and then despise other books by that author. I might come back to that author and despise that book, or I might have disliked it at the beginning and then come back to it. It's incredibly hard for me to say, okay, this author does deserve that hype, because I don't necessarily always see it, or see it at the time. I could go maybe Jill Lepore. I've read two of her books, These Truths and The Secret History of Wonder Woman, and love them. But the first time I read These Truths, I had a bit rougher time of it. So, yeah, it's kind of tough for me to really comfortably answer this question, because I'm always not entirely sure any author does deserve that hype, because I'm incredibly harsh in my reading. Prompt number 2. The Beryl Bridesmaid, a book or author who you think is often overlooked and deserves a lot more praise and attention. For this, I'm going to go with Robinson Jeffers. I've been reading his poetry this past week and digging through some of his the criticism, the scholarship of his work. He is certainly does not get the attention he deserves, largely because of his politics during the Second World War, and afterwards he increasingly was critical of U.S. foreign policy, which basically at a very patriotic when jingoistic time saw his work being more harshly criticized than it probably would have been otherwise. Prompt number 3. The New Voice. An author who is still quite new into their career who you think more people should discover. For this, I'm going to go with so this one here was one of the ones that I had some difficulty with. An author whose work is still I think I might go with no. I guess maybe Nicholas Eames. He's a fantasy writer who has written 2 novels, The Kings of the Wild and Bloody Rose, that I've quite enjoyed, although the first part of Bloody Rose not so much. And I think he should get more attention. Also, Katie Edwards. He is writing the tarot sequence. His third book, The Hourglass Throne, should be coming out sometime in the later this year or early next year, and I do think he should get a lot more credit or a lot more attention than he's been getting. Question number 4. The Offshore, an unexpected gem of a book that took you by surprise but that you love. I've got 2 here. The Big Wonderful Thing, The History of Texas by Stephen Harrigan, which I am flabbergasted that I love as much as I do. And along with that, Post Wall, Post Square by Christina Spohr, her history of the end of the Cold War. It is just an amazing book that, again, given its length, I am thrilled and overjoyed that I love it as much as I do. Prompt number 5. The Pre-Booker. A book released before 1969 that you think deserves all of the awards. There is only one, The Lord of the Rings, which I do think deserves awards, and certainly should have won the Hugo in the years that its constituent parts were released. Question number 6. The Iris Murdoch. An author who you want to check out more of, but you are intimidated by how many books they have written. So for this prompt, I've been wrecking my brain over, because as somebody who reads mostly science fiction and fantasy, the relatively smaller amount of books that most general fiction writers put out is a bit, yeah. I mean, you have 1,000 books in the Wheel of Time series. I mean, it's more like 14. You have a large number in the Malazan, and those books can go nearly 1,000 pages, if not over 1,000 pages. And I mean, of course, they're intimidating. But the more I thought about it when I was watching Eric's video, I suddenly realized manga, particularly shonen manga. A lot of those series can go, into the tens of volumes. Naruto ended with 70, Fairy Tail with 60 something. One Piece has got to be nearing 90, if not 100 volumes. I know there's one that is well over 100 volumes by now. And given those numbers, I mean, it is very intimidating to get into, to collect. I mean, not so much if your library has them in circulation, which sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And depending upon the quality, because those volumes cannot very often get beaten up quite easily. So I would go with various shonen manga series, particularly One Piece, which is nearing 100 volumes by now. Prompt number 7. The International Prize. A book in translation that you think deserves love. I think definitely going back to a book that I've very recently read, Map by Wisława Szymborska, her collection, her final sort of collected poetry, I think was really good and deserves love. Anything else that's been translated? Yeah, there's, yeah, that will be my answer. Prompt number 8. The judging panel. If you could choose another booktuber to be on a judging panel with you for any prize, who would you choose and why? I think in general I would choose Steve Donahue. Because while we don't necessarily always agree on books, on reading and stuff, I do think he would be a blast to be on a reading, like a prize panel with. But I could also see, like, say, Thomas of SFF 180 for a primarily science fiction oriented prize, a Peg of the History Shelf for a history oriented prize, probably Peg the Knitting and Book Prize Addict for, you know, I mean, like with Steve would be probably a more general like prize or award groups, although maybe not necessarily nonfiction. I don't know how much nonfiction Peg the Knitting and Book Prize Addict likes. Question number 9. The drama. What is a book that you are so passionate about that you would defend it vigorously if you were judging a prize? I will go with 2 books that I did vigorously defend. I mean, obviously, I'm a judge for the BookTuber Prize and was a judge last year for the inaugural nonfiction prize, and I judged all of the rounds, and there were 2 books, one in the octafinals and one in the semifinals, that I loved, absolutely loved, and neither one of them advanced. And I didn't particularly, I did not see how they did not advance, and I was quite open with that. And those 2 books are Me by Elton John, his autobiography, which is amazing, even though the writing maybe isn't quite all that great, but I mean, it's still wonderful. And Underland by Robert McFarlane, which is his sort of journey into varying levels of the underland or underworld of Earth, from looking at fungus in urban forest in Britain to the Paris catacombs to deep mines. And it is such a wonderful book, and how that one did not make it to the finals, I do not know. When I saw the actual rankings after the prizes were announced, I was shocked that it came in 6th place in its semifinal group. And shocking. Anyway, so that wraps up the Booker Bingo tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. You don't have to necessarily like the bingo, like the Booker prizes, nor do you necessarily have to like bingo. Which, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother video to do this tag. So anyway, again, if you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. I will be back in a few hours with a weekly reads, where I will spend most of my time talking about Robinson Jeffers. And then, yeah. So until then, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.